In this video, I'll be reviewing 10 suggestions for Grand Peace Online from the official GPO Discord server. Now, these suggestions aren't in any particular order, and that being said, I'll try my best to explain what I like and don't like about these suggestions. With that short intro out of the way, let's get right into the suggestions. Okay, so first we have a suggestion for an auto team finder system for 2v2s, and I think most, if not all people would agree with this suggestion. It's nothing major, but it would be a great quality of life update and would help encourage more players to try out 2v2 PvP, and it would also help people like this player find friends. Next up is a suggestion for the chop fruit to be added to the game, and I understand where this player is coming from. The fact that the buggy boss has been in the game but not his fruit is a little bit strange. If it was good enough to be used by a boss, then why has it not been added as a playable feature? This is especially true when you realize the buggy boss has existed since the release of the game, which was almost 2 years ago. This means that over a year has passed without the addition of the chop fruit, even though it was featured in a boss from right at the beginning in the form of buggy. And number 3 is a suggestion for the upcoming cyborg feature, and this player suggests that cyborg shouldn't be a race and rather should be something like a fighting style or an upgrade, and I wholeheartedly agree that cyborg should not be a playable race in the traditional sense. I think I prefer it if it was a fighting style, and that being said, I think I'll make a specific video on cyborg soon, discussing the cyborg question, whether it should be a race, a fighting style, or something completely new. In the meantime, please share your thoughts on the comment section below about whether you think cyborg should be any of those things. This next suggestion is a little bit different to the other ones. This suggestions focus on boats and the addition of an NL boat in particular, and I assume this player is talking about the NL's boat, the Arc Maxim. I would love to see this ship in game, and I support the idea of making more large and fast boats. Perhaps with the addition of full ship customization, galleon additions could make that ship faster so that it could keep up with the likes of the striker ship. Now, I won't go into too much detail about this suggestion in its entirety, and you're welcome to pause the video and read it all if you want, but the main takeaway is that a gunfighting style is being suggested. Now, I support the idea of gunfighting style being added to the game. In fact, this is another suggestion that I think I might make an entire video on, and all guns in Grand Peace Online are basically just long-range regular katanas. They have no special abilities, and for the most part they cannot block break. In the same way that a regular katana would not be very viable in PvP, neither are default guns. What guns need are either additional block breaking abilities or an entirely new fighting style. This fighting style could contain some fast-paced close combat moves to make up for the gun's lack of fast M1s, and this would probably make it a little bit more viable than it currently is. This next suggestion is something that I have discussed in depth on my channel before, and this is the idea of Marines being able to wear their own clothes and not being forced to wear a uniform in-game. I personally like the uniform to some extent, as it helps make Marine players more identifiable in game and helps give that sense of team-like element to Marine players. However, I think it also is too restricting. Perhaps after a certain bounty has been reached, players should be able to opt to change their clothing to other default clothing options, or preferably just special Marine clothing like the one shown on screen now. This suggestion is another interesting one. Focused on a game mode instead of an item or a fighting style, this suggestion helps highlight a different area of the game. I personally really like the game mode that is being suggested too. It's not too complicated or challenging to add. It's just a simple Marine versus Pirate team deathmatch mode. It also provides a more organized way for players to obtain bounty and provides a fun way of facilitating Marine versus Pirate interaction outside the main game. On top of the game mode itself, a bunch of new interesting cosmetic rewards are suggested as well. Personally, I would love to see SP resets, dark roots, and other Roblox exclusive things be featured as PvP based rewards. I completely relate to this person's frustration, as it seems like the GPO community has been asking since Fishman Island for an option to turn off water walk and has received effective radio silence from the GPO devs. Whether you want to be able to drown yourself at sea or just don't want to water walk for any other reason, there are many reasons to make water walk toggleable. This next suggestion is the first on the list that I completely disagree with. The suggestion is that Yomi should have a 25% chance to revive another knocked player. Firstly, this addition seems unnecessary, considering Brook first off can't do that in One Piece, and the fruit already has its own personal revive ability. Secondly, the way it is outlined in the suggestion just sounds clunky. A 25% chance on an ability just seems really annoying and awkward, and I would much rather that they just don't add this suggestion at all. The final suggestion on this list suggesting few new ways to make Peli more useful in game, and the main way that is suggested here is that SP resets and dark roots should be purchasable with Peli, and while I agree with this, I think the price that is set for these items would also be really important. Perhaps an SP reset essence could cost somewhere in the ballpark of 50,000 to 100,000 pelli, and this would make it accessible to some new players too, but not too easily obtainable. Alright, now that I've covered all 10 suggestions, I'm going to end this video. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. And as always, I hope you have a great day, evening, whatever time it is for you. Also, please leave a comment down below sharing your thoughts on the suggestions that were discussed in this video. All that being said, that's all for today's video. Bye guys.